the station that's on your side. This is News 12, First at 5.
Thousands of cars are now gone. Traffic finally moving again, though slowly along a major interstate outside of Washington, D.C. Lots of problems after the biggest snowstorm in years blew into the D.C. area. Thousands of people stuck along I-95 in Virginia for as many as 20 hours. Drivers, families, even a U.S. senator stuck there overnight, desperate to get out. And here at home, we are remembering the impact of a former North Augusta mayor who passed, leaving behind a staple in our area. But first, it is the first day back to school after the winter break. That first day comes as cases sit near all-time pandemic highs thanks to the Omicron variant. While Georgia did not break records today, we are still sitting in a pandemic high spike. In Georgia and South Carolina, the trend is sky-high cases since right after Christmas. In Richmond County, 219 new cases reported today. It's actually trending down the last few days, putting us back on trend with the post-Labor Day spike, a bit better than the all-time pandemic high 545 on New Year's Eve. The recent spike in cases creating a lot of concern among our parents, those of us sending our children back to school today. Local health officials say children seem very susceptible to the virus. It's all in how easily it attaches itself to their respiratory system. They say it's not safe to believe the virus is always going to be milder in children. The best thing to do, doctors say, is to send your kids to school with a mask and get them vaccinated if you can. But for some parents, like Patrice Wiggins, her 10-year-old son with asthma and diabetes, well, she says a vaccine is not an option. And now she says she feels stuck.
His immune system already weak. And when the COVID first came out, he had a little touch of it, and it scared the mess out of me. I thought I was going to admit him in the hospital, so that's kind of scary. I don't want that to happen to my child or nobody else's child.
Coming up tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're working on a story talking to our local health officials about how the Omicron variant interacts with children. Riley, it's 5.
So when our best chance for rain heads our way in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. An update now on a deadly New Year's Eve stabbing. Investigators initially detained a woman at the scene, but they say they released her without any charges. Deputies responded to Tybee Court on December 30th. That is just half a mile away from Hornsby Elementary School. Well, when officers arrived, they say they found 24-year-old Desmond Forrester stabbed at least one time. He died on the scene. Also developing this afternoon, we now know the identity of the person found shot inside a Graniteville home. Aiken County coroner has identified him just before 4 o'clock as 32-year-old Jairo Martinez. Deputies were called to his home on Escaga Lake Road just before 8:30. When they went inside, they say they found him shot and killed. He was laying there on the floor. If you know anything, you're asked to call the sheriff's office. We've got the number there on your screen. There is up to $1,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. A former North Augusta mayor has passed away. State Representative Bill Hickson telling News 12, quote, "Green's name will live a long time for all he did for North Augusta." The Greenway Trail, which is named after him, was one of the projects he envisioned. The trail was purchased in 1988 while Green was serving the city. Back then, the trail was only 7 miles long. Today, it has doubled.
North Augusta has lost a great man, a Christian man, and on behalf of all of us at the city, our prayers go out to his children, Thomas, Susan, and Lynn, and to all his family. God bless all of you at this time, and please know you're in our prayers.
Green is also one of the leaders who helped create North Augusta Forward. The organization helps keep the Greenway intact and hosts beloved events like Downtown's Third Thursday. Green served the city from 1985 until 1997. Another man with Georgia ties has been arrested in connection to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. That makes him the 17th person from Georgia now charged in the attack. Matthew Webler from Decatur was arrested yesterday on 4 charges. Evidence was found on his Facebook page of him attending the insurrection. He faces disorderly conduct and entering charges on restricted building or grounds. The nation's capital and the region around it at a near standstill today after nearly a foot of snow fell. Government offices and schools were closed. Hundreds of thousands of people were without power. But as Dan Shenneman reports, the biggest problem is on the road.
It's a nightmare more than 24 hours long. I-95 in Virginia at a standstill. NBC's Josh Letterman among the drivers who spent the night in his car.
Thousands, I can see thousands of cars from where I am on the highway on I-95 have been in their cars overnight without food, without water. It's been 26 degrees outside, and nobody knows how long we're going to be here or how we are going to get out.
The cause? Nearly a foot of snow that fell on the Washington, D.C. area.
This is one of the worst storms we've seen in a long time.
Virginia state officials now struggling to get help to drivers and get traffic moving.
We have the resources to be able to get to where we need to, but just because of the storm, the ice, the accidents, it's been very difficult getting to the individuals that need our help.
The weather also affecting air travel.
We've been here for like 6 hours almost.
Yeah, now we have to wait like 4 more hours.
In Maryland, 46% of flights were canceled at BWI, just one of many airports where the weather was just the newest strain on a system already beleaguered by COVID infections and the post-holiday travel surge.
So our flight was canceled. Spent about an hour rebooking us all onto a different flight. That flight got canceled.
Travelers dealing with lingering frustrations at the start of a new year. Dan Shenneman, NBC News.
All right, we are now looking live as help has arrived. Look at that. Plows on the road. You can actually see the road instead of snow there. Thousands of cars are gone. Yeah, the major interstate. This is outside of Washington, D.C., and this is what help looks like. Oh, the roads have been salted. The roads have been plowed. Smooth sailing now as traffic will be able to move once again. But yeah, it was standstill for hours as people were unable to move through. But look at that. That is a beautiful sight for so many people just outside D.C. Look at it. Oh, they're finally starting to move once again. Renovations continuing at the Partridge Inn in Augusta. Once doors open there, you can expect upgrades to public spaces. Guest rooms, too, the rooftop bar, the restaurant as well. Although most of the renovations are taking place inside, structural repairs and fresh paint will be done to the outside. A lot of the renovations will reflect the hotel's history, making you feel like you've gone back in time.
Some of the style, we wanted to go back to the historic, really a nod to the historic nature of the property. And so we thought that this was, kind of the best time to do that. And we're looking forward to seeing the outcome of that.
Oh yeah, right after the holidays, and of course trying to get it done before Masters Week. They say they'll be looking to hire more staff a bit later this month. Renovations are set to be completed by mid-February, because there's something important happening in April and all. After devastating storms in the South, one family is starting the new year looking for a new place to live. Their story next. Riley?
Well, there's going to be another mainly after sunset into Thursday night. That'll clear out by Friday, bringing back plenty of sunshine both Friday and Saturday as well. Another system, though, timed out for the second half of the weekend. Any planned Sunday could be impacted by a few showers.
Ooh, but in the meantime, we are cleaning up still from those strong winds from the storm that swept through the South. And, of course, we're not the only ones who saw storm damage. Tyler Mannion went to talk to one low-country family starting the new year without a home.
Ellis Davis was getting ready for his first day of a new job while the storm raged.
As the wind was getting louder, the tree fell over and just went down and slammed into the house.
There wasn't much time to think, but his priorities were clear.
First thing I thought of was the safety of my family.
Ellis knew all 6 of them needed to get out, but doors weren't an option.
This is the main entrance of my home right here. You can see where the tree came along the side.
The tree had blocked both entrances. Eventually, they all got out safely through a window, and thanks to that, now Ellis has time to think back on how it happened.
That wind was blowing real hard that it started shaking everything. And when the wind started shaking everything, it uprooted the tree. So that's a big oak tree. So it uprooted that. That's pretty strong.
The tree landed in between the kitchen and the living room, something Ellis never thought he'd say about his home.
You hear about it, that trees coming down off and falling on people's houses and everything else, but to experience yourself, it's kind of frightening.
Well, nobody expects this.
You can see how it is. It's really big, and it tore up a lot of things.
Ellis says there's nothing to do now but move forward, and that starts with a simple retrieval.
Just getting some papers out and letting it all go. Then we start over someplace else new.
It seems their community won't let them do that empty-handed, though.
It's a slow process, but we got a lot of help starting to come out. But more would be even grateful, you know. Don't know how long it's going to be until we find another place or get things together back on our feet, so.
The family is optimistic, though, that things can only get better from here. Kids around Georgia are in need of a family. We'll introduce you to one of those children coming up next.
The live eye camera.